What's up, y'all? KB, and I'm late. Thank you, everyone, for popping in on a Saturday. Um, yeah, I took my son to get a haircut at the barber and just running late getting back. But I'm happy for anyone who's joining us, anyone who's watching on the replay. We are on the back end of 31 conversations in 31 days. I don't believe I did this. I don't believe we're doing this. Thank you to everyone once again, our guests, returning guests, new guests. We have some new guests tonight. Um, people in the chat, people in the comments, people just lurking. Don't lurk, like, chat, all that good stuff. Today, and I'm in the mood for this. If you haven't noticed, social distancing and wearing a mask in public since 1978. So I am ready. But today we have some darling folks. I recently got into the Whatnot online auctioning, and it has fed my collection very lovely with both new and previously owned movies, Blu-rays, and 4Ks. And this is the very first place that I landed on their Whatnot stream, and I listened. They got the country music going in the background most of the times, or some 80s music, and they are just a sweetheart of a couple. It is my honor to have Wes and Jen from TWICELOVE22. I am a proud member of the TL22 fam.
Yeah.
So glad to have you here.
We're glad to be here. Thank you, KB.
Yes. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. How you doing?
Good, good. How's it been? Are you officially in the barn?
Yes, we are officially in the barn now. Yes, we are.
Yes. For those that don't know, their business has boomed. It's been a blessing for them both, and they've been able to build a barn to store their movies for sale and exchanges, and struck a deal to have basically a really good deal to have movies coming in to get it to us as customers for like dirt cheap prices. So I know on my end it's been good just to hang out in the auctions and just to see the variety of different titles you have and everything. And just tell everyone a little bit about the setup and how you started and where you are now.
Yeah, so we actually got started on Whatnot with Jen. She was at the post office, and there was a guy down there that said, "Hey, have you ever sold on Whatnot?" Because he was mailing off a whole bunch of packages, and we were like, "No," and we checked it out, and we started selling some video games and some toys and a little bit of comic books on there. And it was just kind of hit or miss because we didn't know a whole lot about it, but we do know quite a bit about movies. And started selling off some of our personal collection, and people really seemed to enjoy that. So that got us motivated to go out there and try to find more. And it's literally become an everyday part of what we do, to go out there and find more movies. We're always on the hunt, trying to bring good stuff to people just in our streams, and bring them into the family and just let them have fun and then, enjoying themselves.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes, I mean, I just pop in there, and it might be a night where it's like DVDs, and I'm not really collecting DVDs that much, but I'm just hanging. I'm hanging out, I'm watching you guys, I'm listening to you guys, I'm looking to see who else is in the chat. Like I said, the TL22 family has grown, and sometimes it's just the relationships that you build with people, and it's kind of like checking in, hey, how was your day, and all that good stuff. And then, like I said before, the two of you are just darling, and it's a pleasure to be around. So
thank you. We really appreciate that.
Yes,
it's funny, there's a film festival going on in Knoxville where you are this weekend, and I was like, it would have been really fun to have this conversation in person. So
it would have been.
I got to get down there. For one, I love the town, got that nice college vibe and everything. Yes. And it would be just a pleasure to hang out with you guys and meet and all that stuff. Get some food, get some libations.
Yes, we will gladly take you out to dinner if you get here. I promise you that.
Would love that, as long as it got some go-go juice to go with it.
That's right.
Go-go juice will be there, my friend. Trust me.
For sure. Well, one of the things that I was kind of happy to hear about is that Wes is a big, not so much Jen, but Wes is a big lover of horror movies. So I
Yes.
said, got to get him on. And I was just going back and forth and found out that he has a certain love for a certain franchise,
Oh,
which
yes.
is Halloween. And I was like, huh,
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to do a Halloween
Oh,
ranking.
yeah.
So I said, this will be a good time. This will be a good time. So we're basically going to do that here. I have 5 questions that I ask at the end of every conversation called the 5 takes. For the spooky season, I've kind of remixed it different ways. So we'll go through the 5 takes, but for question 2, we'll just do it a little bit different than we normally do.
Okay.
So if you're ready to start, I can too.
I'm ready if you are.
All right, man.
Yes.
By the way, I just got to point this out, Jen. You look lovely today, as always.
Thank you very much, KB.
You got the hair did and everything, looking
Yep.
good, looking good.
Thank you very much. Very sweet.
I would compliment you on your hair, Wes, but
Hey, just say my hair is shiny.
the goatee's looking good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
There you go. I got a hair comment in for you.
Yeah. Hey, we're good. You can compliment her. I don't need anything. That's you.
I know. That's how we men folk do.
Stop that. No, you did not.
So, yes.
We do have some people in the chat before we start. Always like to check in with them. So let's see who's here. So we have Royce.
Hey, Royce.
Thanks for joining us. I think this is your first time here. Welcome.
Yes.
We got Jeff saying good afternoon. Usually it's good evening. Thanks for joining us again. We got Magic Hands. What's up, Mike? Yeah, that's okay. Today is a lurk in the shadows kind of day. You know, we're just going to be yapping. So, you know, just hang out. Saying hi to you too. We got Mika joining us, saying hi to everyone.
Nice. Awesome. Hello.
We got Huck in the house. What's up, Huckster?
Nice.
He recently met Christina Ricci. I'm
Ooh,
very
really?
Very nice.
very
Alright.
jealous.
Yes.
He's out in LA. He's a editor and actor, and he's all involved in the Hollywood scene. So always good to have him here.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
Let's see. We have Corey here saying hey to everyone. What's
Hey.
up? And we got Mika's sister Kira here saying hi. Thank you. There was a meetup up in like North Boston going into New Hampshire, and I was supposed to be there, and I was like, oh, I missed out today, but
Aw.
this is a beautiful alternative. So
Well,
I'll
thank
just say that. We got Caveman here reminding everyone to hit that like button.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. More people will pop in and we'll say hi to them as they come in. We got Jordo here. What's up, J Rick? So I like to start off by asking everyone. So name the one horror movie, and I think I know your answer, Wes, but I'll ask anyway. Name the horror movie that made you fall in love with the genre.
Well, to be honest with you, the horror movie that made me fall in love with it was Psycho. I watched Psycho when I was 5 years old with my mom because she enjoyed horror movies as well. And it just stuck with me. And it's always been something that I watch horror movies, and my mom is no longer with me. So it takes me back to times when I spent with her and had a good time with it. And it's just been a passion of mine ever since 5 years old, to be honest.
Wow. I try to remember the first time that I saw Psycho, and it was probably a TV version as well.
Yes.
You know, a little tamer, but still terrifying as all get out for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
You know,
the funny story, the funny story is my brother. I've got a brother that's 8 years older than me, and he would not watch Psycho. And you know, he's 13 or whatever at the time, and he wouldn't watch it. But yet I climbed in my mom's lap and was like, yeah, what is this? And we watched Psycho when I was 5, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big I don't know if you could see it. Let's see. There we go. Right there. Always looking over my shoulder. I got a poster of Alfred Hitchcock.
Love it.
That's awesome.
So
Love
Hitch is always looking over me. Let me see if we can get a better view of it. Yeah, you can see him there. It's the old Apple poster of him that says "Think Different."
Oh yes.
So that whole campaign that they had, you know, here's to the crazy ones. So I got that one year for Father's Day, all framed and everything, and I was like, "Oh, you see me?"
Yeah. It's a nice gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they usually take care of me. You know, they understand the, I don't want to call it obsession, but for lack of a better term, the appreciation I have for the movies and everything associated. Let's see if I can reach it while you're here talking about Psycho. Not the answer I thought you would have gave,
I thought I was
but
that one.
recently picked this up. Let's see if I can get it without the reflection. There we go.
That's pretty.
Yes.
So this is the 4 Psycho movie set, which
Wow.
I mean, Hitchcock was just associated with the first one, but
Yep.
this is nice, and then you could slide it off and
Oh,
Beautiful.
take
that
the
is
movies out. Beautiful.
Now I'm jealous of you.
Hey, you could get it too.
I gotta up my game for Christmas,
Yeah.
I guess.
There you go.
Giving her ideas
Yes,
for me.
yes.
Hit me up, Jen. I'll tell you how to get it.
Okay,
Appreciate
sounds
it.
great.
Let's see. Anybody else hopping in the chat? Let's see. Yeah, so Kira and Mika were there today, so she's telling me next time. Hopefully. Great pick. Psycho is epic. It is. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Psycho at 5, even the TV version had to be terrifying.
It was, but I enjoyed it.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
You got excited by that feeling of being scared, I imagine.
I did. Yes.
Mm-hmm. One of the most memorable horror scenes of all time, that bathroom scene. Yeah, that shower. We grabbed that Psycho set as well. Love it. Yep. Great pick. Awesome. All right. So this is where we're going to kind of spend the majority of our time together today. And we're going to go through and let Wes. I'm sure you've been thinking about this for a while.
Oh, yes.
We're going to rank the Halloween franchise.
Yes.
And what I was thinking is, I think it'd be best to do it from worst to first.
Okay.
So, you know,
Do that.
start with the ones you think are stinkers, and then
Yes.
we get to the good stuff.
Well, I know my pick for the worst is not going to be popular with a lot of people, but it's Halloween 3. Halloween 3 just I don't like it. I know it was meant to be a standalone film, but when you see the very first Halloween and you see Michael Myers, you expect Halloween to be about Michael Myers.
Mhm.
So yes, there it is.
There it
Yes. You know, I know it was supposed to be a standalone and it was something that they wanted to do different, and that's fine. But as a movie overall, I just find it to be way too cheesy.
Hmm.
The whole exploding mask thing with the bugs coming out of it and all that, I'm like, okay, this makes me feel like I'm watching a 70s B movie. It's what it is. And I know there's a lot of people that love it, and I don't fault anybody for loving it. It's just not my taste, because I'm not a fan of anything that's not Michael Myers about Halloween.
Yeah. And
So-
I think a lot of people feel like that too. It's kind of like you gave me 2 movies and you got me used to this person. You know, we went from The Shape to, you know, identifying him by name, Michael Myers. And now I have this person in my mind, and he's becoming a horror icon along with, you know, well, at the time it was just Jason. This was before Freddy. And, you know, then 82 comes and they say, all right, John Carpenter, you had this idea, you know, that the whole thing would be like anthology, and you have this Babysitter Murders, which was the name of the original Halloween.
Yes, it was.
Let's do it now. And then it's not exactly what they wanted.
No, it wasn't at all.
It wasn't what the we're both old enough to remember when it came out. It's not what the audience wanted either.
No,
And
they were
revolted.
Myers.
They revolted. They were like, this is not what we wanted for Halloween.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is my worst pick. I mean, a lot of people don't agree, but it's in my opinion just the worst one.
One thing I didn't ask you, are you including the Rob Zombies or?
Well, it's funny you ask that, because those are the next 2 worst ones on my list.
Okay.
Rob Zombie is an incredible director, and he has great vision, and you know, he's made some great stuff. But his take on Halloween seemed a little too twisted for me. You know, he wanted to dive into what happened to him as a child, and I get it. You're trying to tell the backstory, But Halloween is about Michael Myers picking up his knife and murdering people. That is the premise. And that's what people love, and that's what people have loved since 1978. So don't try to go way too far off base in my mind. I'm not a fan of either one of them. So they actually tied for the last two, or next to the last two spots as the first one. I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah, it took me a couple of years even to, sully my Halloween franchise by watching them.
Yes.
And we've been talking about this recently as we do these conversations. That, and also if people need a happy ending in horror movies, which I don't think I need a happy ending. Just end it. Good, bad, indifferent, don't matter. But we've been talking about how do you need the backstory to appreciate a villain? And I'm like, no, especially this type of person. I think it was in number 2 where Loomis talked about, is he an entity? Is he a spirit?
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, that question is supposed to remain unknown.
Yes.
The moment you try to explain it and, this is how he was as a boy. No, I don't need that. Evil is evil. A villain is a villain.
Exactly right.
That's it.
Exactly right.
I don't need to know why you're coming at me with a knife. All I know is you trying to kill me.
Exactly. And I got to get away. That's it. Bottom line.
I'm trying to stay alive. I don't need an explanation why.
Agreed.
What is your motive, Michael? I don't need that.
No,
I don't need
you coming at me with a knife. That's all I need to know. I'm running. I'm getting out.
Yep. Yep.
There it is.
Couple more comments before we continue. We got Coco Dutch checking in. Wait, is this the Wes and Jenn that Brian Goes Blue been getting movies from?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
I heard so much about you both. Thanks for all of the goodies.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
That's so great.
Kira's not a big fan of Halloween 3 either. No judgment here, girl. No judgment here. This is why Halloween 3 is not in my bottom. Tom Atkins is a great actor. If you know your horror movies, especially from the 80s, he's a great actor. And he, to me, as like the protagonist of the story, saves that movie. But in my mind, I have to do this. I'm like you. I got to put on the horse blinders and say, this is not a Halloween movie. This is not a Michael Myers movie. It's just named that, but it's not a Halloween movie. That's the only way I could appreciate it. You see, I have it. I don't have movies in my library I don't like. But
well, I mean, we've got it too. Jen bought it for me, on Scream Factory and all that. Even though I don't like it, it's in the collection. But I'll never watch it. I'll never watch it again. I watched it once, and actually I watched it twice, and that was enough.
And when I gave it to him, that's what I said. I said, "No, you don't like it, but it has to go in there."
It has some great features though, and they talk about everything that took place in '82 and the reaction of fans and everything like that. So
Oh yeah, most definitely.
This is a good question. Is this your first time on YouTube?
Yeah. I mean, as appearing anywhere, yes, it is. Yes. So you are actually our very first show we've ever done, and it's a huge honor for us. So thank you.
It's a huge honor for me. I mean, like I said, once we started talking about it, and I know one of the auctions that you have weekly is your horror nights, and I was like, oh no, we got to make this happen for sure. Royce confirms it. Yeah. Shout out to Martinez Joe. He was one of the people who was at that meetup today, going to Bull Moose up in New Hampshire. So he's another one. What's his name was there as well. Veg was there as well. So a lot of people at that meetup.
Yes.
Good deal.
That's cool.
Jeff got it right here.
Loomis
said himself, pure evil. Nothing else needs to be known. That's it.
Agreed.
I don't need that explanation. Did you like Halloween 3, Jen?
That's a great question. I mean, I liked it again, like Wes said, as a standalone, but it was a little cheesy for me. I thought, and again, I'm not a huge horror fan, so I don't have a lot to contribute to the conversation. However, that was what I said when we got done watching it. I was like, if it was a standalone by itself, I could almost buy it. But I don't know, even still, exploding heads just I'd rather see someone get stabbed repeatedly than drug across the floor. So that's where I'm at.
I didn't put that precursor out there. Jen is here because it's Jen.
Oh,
So, you know, she's part of the TL22. So I was like, please have Jen on. I mean, it's great to have you here, Wes, but
no, trust me. I'm going to tell you right now, she's what makes the TL22 Nation run. She does everything behind the scenes. She does all the packing. She does all the computer work, prints the labels, gets everything ready. All I am, and I've said it for ever since we've been on, I'm just the mouthpiece. I'm just the guy that talks because I talk for a living. So I just sit here and run my mouth, and people enjoy the country accent. I get it. Some people don't like it, but they do. But she is the one that keeps everything rolling behind the scenes. So any of this that we've done would not happen without this woman sitting right here.
Yes, sir. And kudos to you for everything you do, Jen. And
thank you.
She gives you candy. Any woman that gives you candy, you gotta love her.
We love candy.
We actually picked up a whole bunch more today to put in our packages that we were.
More candy on the way. Love it.
Yes.
My daughter knows now because she sees the return address, like if she picks up the mail.
Yeah.
She's like, "Can I open this? I just want the candy." I was like, "That's all we're getting. You're not getting anything else in the box."
That's awesome.
I love it.
Well, I'm glad that everyone enjoys the candy. So
yes.
Hey, how are you,
Aaron? Thanks for hopping in here with us.
Yes.
Yeah. We love Martinez, Joe, and Marie, and Gary.
Oh yes.
They've been in the community for so long. I kind of feel like they're a staple. You know, every Saturday morning they got their videos. They shout you guys out a lot. They tell people about Whatnot community and everything. So it's good. It's good.
Yep. It's fantastic.
Okay. We'll be starting our Whatnot journey once we're settled in from the move. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, give us a holler if you need any advice.
I was just about to say, I'm sure you guys will give them an advice or anything else they need to get started.
Most definitely.
Yes. For sure.
Yeah. So back to ranking the franchise. For me, definitely the 2 Rob Zombie films are at my bottom.
Okay.
2 is worse than 1. 1 is like palatable.
Yes.
2 is like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot for most of it. I'm like, what is going on?
Like you have to have a drink or 5 to just get through the movie.
Good idea.
Good
idea. Good idea. I might try that one day. There's a couple movies I could only watch.
Go juice and it's all good.
Yeah. It gets more comical the more you drink. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Everything's right. After you take a shot.
Yes.
So we got the really bad ones out the way. So now this is where we could start to debate a little bit because each one might have its ups, its downs, but let's see where you go next as far as your ranking.
Okay, so it was a really hard choice for spot 9 or 10, but for me, I actually put Halloween Ends at spot 10. And the only reason I did, actually, there's a few reasons I did, but it didn't seem like a movie about Michael Myers at all. It seemed like they were trying to, get the new guy in there to do whatever. And the one thing that really irritated me about the movie is showing him in the beginning as some kind of older version of himself and that he's weak and he can't do anything or the things he used to do. And that irritated me because he's pure evil, which is what they've said all the way through.
Right.
And evil never dies. It's the whole entire thing. So don't give me some decrepit version of Michael Myers and then make the whole entire movie about one guy that's trying to take his place or whatever they were trying to do. But when I go to see a Halloween movie and I want to see Michael Myers for at least an hour and a half, not for 15 minutes that he was in the movie.
Right.
And it just irritated me. So I was very mad at the end of that movie, and because there was not enough of him for my taste.
Yeah. Of the I don't know, people are calling it a trilogy, so I'll just follow suit. But the David Gordon Green trilogy of Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends, I would say the first of the 3 was good. It definitely played on the nostalgia of the franchise and everything. By the time we got to the second one, for me, I was sitting there like, what is this chanting of evil dies tonight nonsense? Yes. And then the third one, they marketed it so much to be this Laurie versus Michael final battle, almost like a video game or an MMA fight or something like that. And we got that much of it.
Yes.
And I walked out being totally disappointed.
Yes.
And then just, you know, people giving their opinions and everything. Mika says that's a fitting spot for Halloween Ends. They did my boy Michael wrong. Yep. Yep. It ends at 2018 for me. Yeah, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But just talking to someone, and we came up with the concept that in the movie, Laurie is writing a book and everything like that. What if this is being told kind of like in a flashback, and it's being told from the book's perspective? Because there are scenes where she just shows up like, how the hell did you get here so fast?
Yeah.
Like to the radio station or whatever. And I'm like, that explanation fits. If this is like, you know, her recollecting what happened, because at the end she literally closes the book.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay. And I went back and I watched it again, which when I walked out, I said, I will never watch this nonsense again. But it made me go back and watch it. And I'm like, huh, that's a concept. A terrible concept.
Yes.
But a concept at that.
Yes.
But it made me appreciate what they were trying to do, but not enough to like the movie. So
Agreed.
That would definitely be on the lower end. The only redeeming thing I have to say about kills, and I know you haven't gotten to it yet, is that part of the title, they really gave into it, because that had some fantastic kills. I'm sorry to sound so violent right now, Jen, but it really had some fantastic kills in it.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, it's up my list for that reason alone, because some of the kills in that one were spectacular.
Yeah.
The whole entire coming out of the burning house with the firemen, I was like, okay, we have went and got creative with how you're killing folk, and I like it.
We'll talk more when you get to it, but
yes,
that's my kind of like little judging of the three movies. What's up, brother Del? Thanks for popping in and trying to keep up with us. Yeah, he says I keep trying to convince him to appreciate ends. It's not working. He loves kills. I'm just saying it's a logical explanation in a movie that made absolute no damn sense.
Yes.
That's all. I'm not trying to rah-rah for it. I'm not an apologist for it. I'm just saying that's the only way this movie makes sense, because why set up this whole Corey thing?
Yes.
And is it like, you might as well call it Halloween Transfer of Evil?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it went nowhere. So, but anyway, please continue.
Okay, so the next one on my list is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Okay.
I am just not a fan of it. I mean, it seems too outreaching for what they were trying to do. And it goes back, I understand the whole curse and the baby and all this, that, and the other, but it boils down to one thing. You can put Michael Myers in his mask and let him kill people, and people are going to watch it. They don't need this huge story of about a curse of a baby and all this, and this guy dressed in black. And I mean, just let him do his job, and people will go do it. They'll go watch it.
Yep.
Because that's what he does. So
we just want to see him kill people.
That's it. And in the most creative ways possible. So yes, I am not a fan of 6 at all.
Can we stop and mention what part of what organization you are associated with?
As far as what I do for work?
As far as your profession, former profession.
Yes, I am a part of law enforcement. I am a trainer for our local law enforcement agency. To teach new officers how to be SROs or into the school system.
Yeah.
So yes, that is my profession.
So it's actually kind of humorous to hear a law enforcement officer talk about how good a kill is.
We only condone killing if it's on the big screen.
Yes, I mean, I'm just a fan of horror movies. I can't help it.
Yes.
Maybe that's why I do what I do. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. Dell is known for his hot takes. So he's saying Rob Zombie's Halloween is his top Halloween. Halloween 2 is his worst.
Okay.
Just
I mean,
art.
there's no hate for anybody that loves the movies that I don't like, you know, and because everybody has different taste, and we've talked about that on the stream before and things of that nature. Because somebody will say, you know, you have this movie, and I'll say, okay, yeah, we've got it, and we'll run it, and it was like, do you like it? And I said, no, I don't. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, everybody has different tastes, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's different art for different people.
There you go.
There you go. Royce wants to know, why has Resurrection not been mentioned already? It's so bad.
It is next. It is next, Royce. It is next. It is number 8 because it is bad.
Yeah, get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a very good movie had they done it the right way. Because the whole entire thing of going into the house, you know, spending a night in his house or where he was supposed to be or where he killed and all that could have been great, but just the way they did it, it seemed poorly executed to me. And plus, I think it's Busta Rhymes that's in it. Is that right? I mean, come on now.
Terrible.
We don't need him in a Halloween movie. I'm sorry, we don't. And he plays one of the lead roles, and I'm like, you know, find me somebody, you know, give me Samuel L. Jackson out there. Give me somebody out there, you know, don't give me Busta Rhymes. So, I mean, it's an okay movie. I can rewatch that one. As much as I don't like it, I can actually rewatch it because I do think it's a great concept. It was just done poorly.
Yeah. I got that one down there. So for our physical media fans, Scream Factory released a 3-set with what was it? Curse, H2O, and then Resurrection. Yeah. So I said the only one that has any redeeming quality to me was H2O. You could keep Curse, you could keep Resurrection.
Yep.
And then they wanted $110 for it for 3 movies. I don't care if it's a 4K. I don't care if it came with candy. It was like, no.
I'll even draw you a picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So finally they started releasing.
Sorry, honey.
They released H2O as a steelbook, and I was like, okay, I'll get that because I love this. I'm an apologist for H2O. I know there are people out there that for some reason don't like it, but I'm an apologist for that one for sure. But Busta Rhymes in a Halloween movie trying to drop kick Michael Myers, I don't need humor in my Halloween franchise like that.
And the way that Michael dies in that one is just hokey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, electrocuted with the wires that's hanging. Just come on, man.
Yeah.
We don't need none of that. You know. So yeah, that one is down on the list for me.
Yeah. And I really think they were just trying to capitalize on what had been like 4 years since H2O.
Yes.
And it was like, we're not making money. You think we could do another Halloween? Because the way H2O ended, the end.
Yes.
But
cutting his head off. I mean, that kind of ends it.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
Coming back again.
Yes.
You'll
always come back.
Yep. I have fun with Resurrection. What's not to love about Dangertainment? No, Mika, too much.
Yep.
And Jamie Lee Curtis should have never been in it. Agreed. They should have started off with a fresh concept.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't ruin it. I'm sorry. If you're in a franchise ranking, you're going to get information.
Yes.
I'm sorry if you have to leave, but
That's
at
awesome.
this point, what is it, 20 some odd years later?
Yes.
You should have had to suffer through Resurrection at least once.
Oh, yeah.
And most movies, I think, he either dies or he dies and then he gets up and then, sequel on the way.
Yeah, because I mean, the first one he doesn't die, because he gets up off the ground, and I think the only ones that I can remember, I think the trilogy that just came out, those two, he didn't actually die in that until the end, which still pisses me off how they killed him in the end. But anyway, I'm not going back to that one.
Yeah.
Because I just hate it.
All right, I have an idea where you go next, but let's see.
Okay, so next up at 6 and 7, and they're so close that they're pretty much tied. It's 4 and 5. The Return of Michael Myers and the Revenge of Michael Myers. I put 5 down, lower than 4 because 4 is was a good idea after 3. I mean, because it's the return of Michael Myers, which is what everybody was clamoring for,
Right.
and what everybody wanted. So, and the promotional posters they did for all that was fantastic with his face and all that.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that part of it. But, just the whole niece thing, and Danielle Harris, I know she did a great job in them, but I was just not a huge fan of hers. In there. Once again, it's getting back to let Michael do what he does best. And don't tell me about family and all this, that, and the other. Even though it was supposed to be the sister, which turned out didn't to be the sister, and throughout the whole entire franchise. But I mean, they're okay movies. I'll rewatch them at any time. They're just not my favorites.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. This morning I got up and just preparing for this. I said, I feel like just rewatching something. I don't know what. I know I'm going to watch Halloween on Halloween. It's kind of like apropos and tradition. So I watched Halloween 2, and I was chatting with my friend, and she said, "What are you going to watch next?" I said, "Probably the ones I don't like, 4, 5, 6."
Yep.
Because those 3 I just linked together as I hate the fact, one, they couldn't get Jamie Lee back. She was like, no.
Yes.
2, it was a revival, but they still had to start a new timeline. They could have continued in some way, but they just started another timeline. So now you have this standalone. You got the original, cool. You have a standalone, then you have this new timeline, and then you come back and you have another new timeline. Then you return to the original 2 to continue that timeline. There was this meme going around with a girl who loves horror movies, and she's trying to explain the Halloween timelines to her unknowing boyfriend. And it was so
the unknowing boyfriend.
because she's basically drawing him a schematic to show him all the different timelines of how it goes. And I'm like, this would be me trying to explain all the timelines to people.
Yeah.
So it's just too much. Was that you, Jen? Him trying to explain it to you?
Yes. Oh yeah. And I mean, we've watched him like, okay, I'm so confused. I thought, or and he's like, no. So he has to, pause, back up, explain.
Like,
I'm like, okay.
Right. We're watching 4, which has absolutely nothing to do with the 3 that you just seen, that they just released. And so it's a big mess. The timelines are all messed up and out of whack on it. But so you're going to get that with any franchise out there as they try to do different things, like Jason X, Jason in Space. I mean, come on.
I understand you're trying to go for originality and all that.
Yes,
but keep some form of continuity besides the villain.
Exactly. I agree.
Even Freddy Krueger, I mean, there's still continuity because you have him.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if anybody else is in it. You could bring back your original final girl, whatever, but the continuity is him.
Yes.
This one, you don't get that same feeling like the continuity is Michael. It's kind of like, well, we want Laurie back. We can't afford to get Laurie back.
Yeah.
Well, how about you continue it with one of the supporting characters? Maybe the kids were old enough. They could have had the teenage kids from the first one.
Yes, they
so
could
many
have.
different things.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
many. All right. So we have, I'm trying to figure out where you're going to go next. I don't know why. This is half the fun for me, I guess.
You want to take a guess?
So let's see. Okay, those are out of the way. We got that one. And okay, I'm just going to ask you, what's next?
Okay. Up at number 5 is Halloween 2.
Okay.
The 1981. And the reason it is the concept they had for that movie to do it all in the same night as the original blew my mind. Because you're thinking, okay, usually horror movies, they're going to go from year to year, or for 5 years or 10 years or whatever it is. But you turn around and you make that movie in 1981 and everything is the same as that exact night that everything happened. Thought that was one of the most original concepts that I had seen for a horror movie, to actually continue it on the same night.
Yep.
And I love it. One of my favorite scenes in horror movies of all time is when Michael walks out after getting lit on, after the explosion, and he's burning and he comes out. That's just so iconic in my mind. It's a scene that I'll never forget. And Jen actually bought me the steel book of that one, of him actually walking out, and I almost
beautiful cover.
lost my mind.
Yeah,
I did. I about lost my
he
mind.
squealed like a kid on Christmas.
I was
like,
like, oh my God. But I mean, I love the movie overall. I didn't particularly like having her in the hospital the whole entire time and all that and the other.
Yeah.
But to make that movie work, you kind of had to, so it worked well. I really enjoyed Halloween 2.
Yeah. I like I said, I watched it again this morning, and certain things, if you haven't watched a movie in a while, it kind of escapes you, and then once the scene comes back, you're like, everything just comes flooding back to you, and it's like, oh yeah, and then in your mind you're calculating what's going to happen next and reminiscing about it. This is exactly where I would have that movie myself, being with the remaining movies being above it. Yeah, solid movie, solid sequel. After the hoopla of the first one, and this is all before VHS heydays and all that. So you had to go and see it in the theaters again and again. I was too young. I was 8 when Halloween came out. So
we were too. So
11. Yeah. So it was just concept to me, and Michael Myers. And I think in this movie is where they really establish him as that character instead of just being the shape in the first. It's kind of like not to cross-pollinate villains here, but like Friday the 13th Part 3 is my favorite in that franchise because it's not the first time Jason is a villain, but it's the first time he puts on the mask.
Yes, it is.
And when he puts on the mask, that's when he becomes the icon. So it's like,
it is.
The rest of it could be hokey, but that's when he becomes official to me. So I think Halloween 2 is where Michael becomes official. He becomes that entity, that evil spirit, whatever. And at that point, it's like, he could die, but he ain't dead for long.
No, he's coming back.
He keep coming back.
Oh, yeah.
He keep coming back for sure. Mika, love Halloween 2. Love how it picks up after the first film. Love the hospital setting. I think they try to recapture that a little bit in Kills.
Yes.
But not as successfully.
Agreed.
Steve Moody in the house. Just watched the first 2 Halloweens for the first time this week. Okay.
Oh,
actually like 2 more than the first. I think we have such a nostalgic love affair with the first one. Like I watch it and I'm a teenager again. I hear my VCR moving the tape, all that good stuff. And I think that no matter what comes out, they could come out with the cinematic masterpiece called Halloween whatever, and I still would go back to 1.
Oh yeah.
There's something about it. But if this is the first time I'm seeing it, grown up, everything like that, the cinematic quality of 2 and the storytelling and the diversity of kills, I'll just be, really violent here, is much more superior to what they had in 1. But you got to think, just like with Friday the 13th, just like with Nightmare, most sequels, if the first one is successful, they throw more money at the second one. There's more production value. There's a better story told in most cases. Maybe not Jaws 2. I know you're a big Jaws fan. Not Jaws 2.
No.
Not Jaws 4, definitely. Not the reboot.
No.
It was hot trash.
I mean, when Jaws comes up out of the water and you hear the Godzilla sound, that's a little hokey.
Yeah. The whole mother thing, and basically jet streaming through the oceans to get to the equivalent of a lake.
Yeah, it's terrible.
No.
Terrible.
No.
Sadly, we own it though.
Yeah, we do. We've got it.
Yeah.
So
Part 2 had much more balance than the original. You could thank Friday the 13th for that. Yeah. And that's the thing. Once you get into the 80s, you get the inspiration of other movies. Shortly after that, you get Black Christmas. I mean, not Black Christmas, Nightmare on Elm Street. And then you get basically the beginning of the slasher in the 80s, with all the other movies coming along with it. Great sequel, in my opinion, Halloween 2. Yep.
Agreed.
I like Bagman Jason, but he's not official for me. It's not till Part 3 when he becomes official. Thank you, Del. He's given his ranking here quickly. Rob Zombie, Halloween 2, H5, and 4, Resurrection, Witch, Curse, Keep going, man. We want to hear the rest. OG is my movie. Yeah, I know it. 78 and Alien all day. Great year between the two.
Yeah, it was
78, 79 between the two. Huck adds, when I saw Halloween 3 last year, I just couldn't get into it. He shares your opinion. And not because there was no Mike, just because it made no sense. Tim said I was overthinking it. Our friend, shout out Tim Talks Talkies. He's up there at the meetup today too. I don't know. I enjoy it as a standalone. I just have to disassociate it with the franchise.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it. I like Tom Atkins. I really do. He's good for me when it comes to 80 horror and sci-fi and all that good stuff. Yeah, Del, finish the list and I'll pop it up afterwards. But in the meanwhile, let's continue. All right. Basically, you're getting to my favorite films in the franchise now. So go ahead.
All right. So at 4, I've got Halloween Kills. Just, we talked about it briefly before, but the way that they came up for him to kill people in that movie was fantastic. And it's what I like to see in a Halloween movie. You want to see Michael do his thing. As I said, it's kind of like when people watch Michael Jordan play basketball, they wanted to watch him do his thing. So everybody wants to see Myers do his killing. And he did some very gory and great kills.
Unique.
In that movie. Yes, very unique. The whole entire Saul thing with, when he busted out with the firefighter, and I was like, okay, you guys are getting good. So David Gordon Green did a great job of making stuff like that happen. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story part of it. Now, like you, I didn't like the whole evil dies tonight and all that and whatever. That I'm not a big fan of that. But the story and the kills in it, yes, that's why I put it at number 4, because I could rewatch it just to see him kill people.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, I think I got so lost in that whole mob mentality thing. I'm there. I didn't see it in the theater. I was watching it at home, and I have my wife over the shoulder, and it's making her curse out loud. And I'm like, okay. She's like, what the is this movie? And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I agree, but I'm not going to argue with you right now because then it'll be directed at me. So I agree. And then when I rewatched it, I said, I see the value, and that will elevate it for me.
Yes.
But it's not as good as the previous movie. And somebody says it here, Royce, thank you. Royce is in my head. The 30-minute hospital chase and kills ruins it for me. I think the creativity of the kills and the story that I would say the story they were trying to tell was good, but the things like that and the whole mob thing got in the way of it.
It did.
So overall, it's a good movie, but it could have been a great movie if they focused on the right things. And even bringing back characters and all that added to it because, it was trying to recapture that nostalgia thing. But once again, just like in 2, underuse of the character, this time the daughter instead of Janie. It's like bringing it down the line, the lineage and everything. And I don't know. That took away. Well, wait a minute. It was the granddaughter, right? Who was in the hospital? The granddaughter. Thank you.
Yes.
So, I just think that took away from the story for me. But all in all things considered, still better than the majority of the sequels, especially when you think about 4, 5, 6, and you think about the zombie movie, the Rob Zombie movies, for sure.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, Del finished his list here. So we left off here. Resurrection, Witch, Curse. H2O at 6. Okay. Agree to disagree. 2018. Halloween 2, Kills, Halloween. We got to sit down and talk about your love for Rob Zombie Halloween. You like that backstory. That's what it is. Roy says, when I think of Anthony Michael Hall, I'm thinking Breakfast Club, not Halloween. Yes. I'm even thinking Dark Knight before I think about Halloween Kills. That is the last thing I'm thinking about. And then the chanting. The chanting just takes me out.
Yep.
So let's see. We have original Halloween.
Yep.
H2O, and then
the 2018.
Yep. So I'll let you do your next one, and then
Okay.
we'll talk.
My next one is H2O.
Okay.
I enjoyed H2O. I thought it was a great concept. 20 years later, releasing it in 1998, which is a great nostalgia piece for people that wanted to see something like that. There's a couple things that really set it off for me. I mean, now I think LL Cool J's in it. I'm not a huge fan there. Like I said, he does a good job. Don't get me wrong. He does a whole lot of job, plus rhymes. But the one thing that I really liked about that movie is how they put Janet Leigh in the movie, and then actually had her drive her car from Psycho in that movie, which a lot of people don't get it. But when
apparently you see, I know.
Yes. So when I watched it the first time and she walks out, I'm like, holy crap, that's Janet Leigh. And then she gets in the car and I was like, she drove that in Psycho. The ending of the movie when she chops off the head or whatever, okay, that doesn't do much for me. But there's two scenes in that movie that I really, really enjoy. One is the first time that she gets her eyes on Michael when she shuts the door and they're face to face right there. There's just a little piece of glass separating them. I think that is it. There you go. That's it. That's the scene.
Yes.
I love that.
You're going to mention that.
Yes. That is my favorite scene. And then the other one is when she has the axe and she has sent the kids and everybody on their way. And she starts going up the driveway or road or whatever it is in the college, screaming his name. Basically, yes. Yeah. Basically calling him out, saying, all right, you want to do it, big boy, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about that.
Me too. I'm like doing this right now.
Yep.
It's like such a kick-ass scene.
It is.
You're like, she's like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of dealing. It's been 20 years of this.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's face the boogeyman.
Yep. So yeah, that makes number 3 for me for sure.
Yeah. Slight difference from me. Your 1 and 2 will differ from me, but this would be my number 2.
Okay.
Just because, after all these years coming back and just getting that nostalgia again, it's hard to revisit a franchise. Forget about all the fluff in between. It's hard to revisit a franchise 2 decades later and get people wound up.
Agreed.
I know there's a lot of people who say, I liked it better when it was Scream because, it's coming right after Scream and the influences are definitely there. It plays pretty much like that first Scream movie in a certain sense. But I think it's still a Halloween movie. It's still a Michael Myers movie.
Yes.
And I think that really adds to it. So, yeah. But it just ranks right below my number 1. But once again, I mean, we're still talking, 20 years later since then?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So it's still 25. My Lord. This is the 25th anniversary? Yeah. Dang. So, we're still talking nostalgia at this point as adults for me. So I hold that pretty high up there for me as far as my franchise ranking. We got a super chat here from Royce.
Oh,
wonderful stream. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining in.
Royce with his big heart.
Yeah, Royce has a great heart and is a great person.
Yeah.
Thank you
out with us
so
all
much.
the time. Royce, we love you, buddy.
Yes, sir. All right. So now surprise me with your number 2.
Okay, so number 2 is Halloween 2018.
Okay, so we're on the same page for 1.
Yeah, I mean Halloween 2018. When I heard they were going to bring that movie out, I was like, okay, what are you going to come up with now that's going to be different than what I've seen? Because we've seen everything, and then for John Carpenter to come in, which I think you can see his influence on the movie quite a bit. But for him to come in and say, hey, if we're going to do this, you need to stop it after 1 and just tell everybody, nothing in the middle mattered. We didn't do anything in the middle. And starting that story right there so long after 1, I thought it was an amazing, amazing idea. And I loved watching it, and you got a little bit of the backstory and things like that. But, and it wasn't overkill as far as backstory and all this, that, and the other. It was just, I thought it was a really well done movie with the way that they handled being so long between the 2.
Yeah. When they announced that they were bringing it back, you have to imagine before that we had Rob Zombie movies, and before that we had Resurrection.
Yes.
to say I was a little sour with the franchise at that point.
Yeah.
It was like, please just put it to rest. We don't need more.
Yep.
But then I started seeing the commercials, and now Jamie Lee is back, and I'm like, I'll go see it. So I was there opening night.
Yeah. And had she not been in that movie, it would not have been nearly as successful as what it was.
Yep.
There's no way, and getting her to agree to come back to it was a huge part, and everybody loving it as much as they did.
Yeah,
because she is
part
an
of
original
the success too, for sure.
Yep. So I, that's why it makes number 2 for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, Roy, you're right.
This was an important part of it, having his son involved with the composing and everything.
Yes.
Because you still got that feeling. Last Saturday, I put out a video on YouTube basically saying, what's your favorite Carpenter directed movie? Yep. Most people either said Halloween or The Thing. And as people were giving their different answers, then last Saturday night, I took my wife to a 3-movie Carpenter marathon. So The Fog, The Thing, and Christine.
Oh, wow.
His music, his scores in his movies are just as impressive in a lot of cases as the movies themselves. And, I've been watching a lot of horror movies this month. And to see things like, what did I watch the other day that had a really good score? We were just talking about it. Give me a second. Let me take a look back here. Because we were just talking about it the other night. Not When a Stranger Calls. Anyway, Prince of Darkness.
Yep.
And I was comparing that score to the similarities to it from Escape from New York. But you stop and you say, hey, all those movies had really good scores, and they were all John Carpenter scores. And now to see 2018, and his son is kind of carrying on the tradition, of course, with his influence. It really adds to the movies, and it gave it that 78 feel, I found.
Yes, it did.
2018 had a great angle with PTSD, Laurie, the town nut. Yeah. And I think between that and H2O, where she was the estranged drunk.
Yes.
I think those two, because it's like, this is trauma. This is lifelong trauma. How do you deal with that?
Exactly.
How do you react to that? Somebody whose life mission is to kill you.
Yeah. And they did an excellent job of it. I mean, because it would drive you to that point. And that's why I love the movie.
Mika just added her ranking. Thank you. Ends at the bottom. Zombie 2, Curse, Hall, Kills, Resurrection, Hall, Halloween 4, Season of the Witch, Rob Zombie 1, H2O 2018, Halloween 2. Okay, so you put Halloween 2 a little higher, 78. So your top 4 are kind of like interchangeable with ours too. Yeah. But they're up there. Yeah. He was a musician before he was director. He is amazing. He is. And it's simple in design.
Yes.
That's where the beauty lies. All right. So it's nice to see we are kind of on the same page with our number 1. So I'm going to give you the big screen and just wax poetic about 1978's Halloween.
Well, I mean, it's the most iconic horror movie out there, if you ask me. I've always been a huge fan of it because, one, I was born in 1978, so it kind of hits home for me. Rather, she was too. Yes, it kind of hits home for me because I feel a personal connection to it because of that. But one of the reasons why I love it so much is I love movies that have a lot of realism to them. And when Carpenter came up with that story and talked about how you have somebody that kills his sister at a young age, which can really happen, and then gets locked away in a mental hospital or nervous hospital, as I always say, thanks to Sling Blade, but gets locked away and pines for the fact that he wants to go kill his other sister, and then escapes. That can really happen. And movies like that always reach deep into my soul and just capture me. I don't know what it is about it, but I like realism in my movies. Even those slashers, I know you're not going to get a whole bunch of realism, but just that entire concept, and then bringing Jamie Lee Curtis in, who was relatively unknown at the time, and her becoming a scream queen with that, and the way Carpenter did his mask and everything, because it come down between a clown mask and the William Shatner mask, and for him to take it, stretch it a little bit, spray paint it, and be like, no, this is the one, and have that vision that would become this massive franchise is just impressive to me. So Halloween will always be my number one horror movie of all time, and it's literally, there you go, he's got it.
Yes.
It's literally in my top 2 or 3 movies of all time, period, of any genre, just because I love it that much. We watch it every Halloween. It's something that I've done ever since I was little. I can remember being 6 or 7 years old, laying on the couch with my dad, and us watching Halloween together because I wanted to watch it. And it's just something that I've done my whole entire life. And I love Halloween and Michael Myers. I mean, just the original one can't be beat.
Yeah, I'm with you. And in recent years, I would say the last, 5 or so years, it's been Halloween and then 2018.
Yep.
So I followed that jump because, on Halloween night, you might be handing out the candy, or you got something to do, or your kids were little. And it's like, hey, I got time for 2 movies max. Which I got to watch 78.
You have to.
This is like the logical next choice is either this or 2.
Yep.
So I've been watching 78, 2018.
Yes.
And it flows so well together.
They do.
The whole escaping happening more than once, it could happen.
Yep. But, it could happen.
You brought about something about realism, and I could watch possession movies, I could watch slashers. They are my favorite subgenre. I also like zombies and lichen stories like werewolves, all that. But home invasion movies just disturb me.
Yes.
If there's one subgenre of horror movies or thrillers that just stay with me, it's the realism of a home invasion movie.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the movie Funny Games?
I have not watched that one, no.
Okay, there's an original version. I don't remember what country it's from, but then they made an American remake with Naomi Watts and Tim Roth.
Okay.
And it's shot for shot the same with little minor nuance differences, but story's the same thing. And it's basically a home invasion movie. Between that and The Strangers, I won't pull it down. I always do, but The Strangers, that stays with me. That without of course saying the reason why it happened and everything, it just stays with me. And I could watch hackers and slashers all day long and yawn.
Agreed.
But the moment that movie comes on, I'm intent. I am watching it. I am feeling chills because many a nights, you never know, guarded or not, you never know. That stays with you.
And I think it plays into the fact that, your home is where you feel the safest, and you have someone that invades your home in your personal space, and you don't know what to do about it or what you can do about it. And it plays on your psyche, much like, Hitchcock used to play on people's minds, because one of his famous quotes is like, you don't put horror on the screen, you put it in people's minds. And that's what a good home invasion or horror movie or anything will do to you. So if you can actually feel yourself in that movie and relate to it in some way, it will be, more successful, in my opinion, if it does that.
So true. So true. Oh, man. Well, I would have to say, considering that we pretty much have the same top 4 or so, I really like your ranking.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I put a lot of thought into this one.
I see that. See that. Yeah. Let's see. Same here. Banging on the door is the scariest thing in all movies. It is. It is. Oh, I am on a campaign. I know you got, I don't know where your little one is, but your little 4-legged child.
Yeah, she's right down here at her feet.
Okay. I have a campaign to take away all door knocks, doorbells in TV shows, movies, and commercials.
Yes.
Because it drives my 2 hooligans crazy.
Yes. Agreed.
I'm like, it's on the TV. Shut up.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
They don't care.
Yep. I'm with you.
Yeah. She's like that with all animals too, though.
Yeah, if she sees a dog, horse, goat, whatever on TV, she goes nuts.
She will go crazy.
And I'm like,
it's a horse. It'll stomp you.
And and she's 10 pounds soaking wet.
Lay down.
Don't care.
So,
Yes, thank you, Del. The OG Funny Games and American remake. Basically, the director did the Hitchcock thing, like The Man Who Knew Too Much, and remade his own movie. But
Okay.
he put a different cast with a different spin. He made it American, even though Naomi Watts, Tim Roth, not really American.
Yeah.
But, but yes, same thing. Same thing. Thanks,
We will
Del.
check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Either version is good, but there's something about the subtitles, and there's a revealing time in the movie where you're like, oh, ooh.
Okay.
It kind of makes you pull back a little bit.
We'll watch
Yeah.
it for sure.
It's fun.
Now that you
It's
mentioned
fun.
it. Yeah.
The original is a Criterion, and then the American one is just a regular studio release if you come across it.
Gotcha.
Which makes me ask, before we answer our other questions here, do you guys, like, when you get a movie in and you're like, oh, I haven't seen that, or oh, that seems like an interesting one, do you like kind of pull it out, watch it, and then put it out for auction?
Well, I will tell you this: we've been known to pull them out, but it's only to collect them.
Yes.
We don't pull it, like, we won't pull it out and watch it and then turn around and resell it,
Yes.
because that's just not what we like to do.
Unless we look at the disc and we're not sure about it,
Yeah,
then
we
we'll pop
might-
it in to test
Yeah.
it. But other than that, we don't really watch it.
No, but like, yeah, we see stuff that comes in. Like, one of the things that came in actually this week was a Psycho 50th anniversary edition. And it came in as Blu-ray, and I pulled it out of the box and I looked at it and I was like, honey, and she kind of looked at me, she goes, go ahead. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep it. I'm sorry, I've got to.
I said, babe, keep.
Yeah. And that, so yeah, we pull them out at times to collect them, and our collection has grown massively doing this. I mean, when you consider,
I can imagine.
we probably have literally over 30,000 movies right now. In our garage and in our barn here. I mean, the amount of movies that we're getting in is astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go through that many, and and I'll see one, or that'll be good for her, and it's like, here, you take it, and she's like, no, I don't want to. I was like, no, keep it. We'll get another one in, and we always do. So it's fun. Our collection has grown huge.
Exponentially.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, considering the fact that we started by selling off a lot of stuff that he had collected, and a few of my, because he did most of the collecting.
Yeah.
We started off selling our own stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, let's get it back.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah.
So
it just keeps growing.
I
we have to
can't
go on the hunt.
imagine. I can't imagine having 30,000 movies at my disposal to sell and not be like, I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to keep that one.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Trust me. And the cool thing is, when we come out in the barn, we have a TV and everything set up now with a Blu-ray player and all that. So we literally come out here to process or work on movies, and we just walk by the wall and grab one. Doesn't matter what it is. We just grab one and pop it in and let it play as we're working. We're like, oh yeah, we hadn't seen this. Let's watch a little bit of this.
It.
Just let it play or whatever. It's like, okay, like, well, we're going to keep that one.
Keep that one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And yet, for everyone who doesn't know, and yet with all that, they still have high quality, like, movies and releases. I've seen Scream Factory stuff on sale there. I've seen out of print stuff on sale there. So it's like, if you know what you're looking for and you know the value of it, you could get some really good deals. I'll say that. It's not like you guys are like, well, I have this out of print Blu-ray from Scream Factory and we're going to sell it starting at $50. You don't do that. You are fair. And if you're in auctions and you know the value of something, and really it doesn't matter. I have stuff that, people are like, oh, you got that? That's out of print. I'm like, I don't care. It's sitting next to, Barney and Friends from when my kids were young.
Yes.
Because it's the same value in my collection. It's worthy of being in my collection.
There you go.
Here's what the street value is if I'm not selling it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And thank you for saying that. We really appreciate that. We try really hard.
I call it like I see it, and you guys are very fair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is a lot of movies.
That's all this guy, because I just run behind the scenes.
No.
Does all the buying. Once in a great while, I'll send him a link, and I'm like,
let her
hey,
fool
check
you.
this.
Don't
let
her fool you.
You are the oil that keeps that machine going.
KB knows.
Thank you.
I know. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. You get those shipments in, and you are organizing and cataloging. When your auction goes up, and I see there's titles and everything, I'm like, That's a Jen job.
Yep,
That's a
you're
Jen
right.
job for sure.
100% right, because
Yes.
I can't organize.
Oh,
Mhm.
No,
you
I can't.
can.
No, I just talk. That's
You're
all.
great at that.
Yes, Jeff. This is all by auction.
Yes.
While we're talking here, I will put this up. If you go on Whatnot and you search for
thank you.
TWICELOVE22, give them a follow. Put the bell on so you'll get the notification when they're going live. But basically, it's almost every day. I don't know how they got time to even do this. Are you guys going live tonight?
Yeah, we're actually going live at 7 o'clock.
7.
So sure enough,
yeah,
New inventory.
and
within the hour.
we've got about I don't know 700 back here sitting behind us of new inventory we're going to run tonight.
Yeah.
So is it just new blues tonight?
It's like new inventory to us, and I mean, well, I'll just grab a couple here to show you.
Some of it, I mean, things that we personally have not had in our inventory, or even things that we've got that we know sell well.
So, like tonight, we'll be running Creed 3 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm kind of getting a little bit backwards there with that. Stuff like this, The Way of the Dragon and Game of Death, right there with Bruce Lee.
Yeah. That's something out of print, people.
No, is it? Okay, didn't see. We didn't even know that. But like, the Batman Ninja movie with the slip and stuff like that. So I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we've got that we get in. And when we get them in, if we've never had them before, we'll just pop them up, say it's new inventory, and we're just going to run them. And we start them at $2. So if you get one of these for $3 or $4, good for you. If you get one of them for $15 or $16, well, if it's what it's worth to you, good for you.
Yeah.
But we don't go any higher than that, and we start them at $2 and say, hey, if you want them, come take them. That's all we do.
So if you never visited before and you're looking for something to do after this live stream, load up our Whatnot app and head over. Check it out. I mean, that's how I got hooked. Veg brought me over, and I was like, okay, so where do I spend this money you just gave me? And he's like, let's go see Wes and Jen. I was like, okay, who are they? And then I found out who you are, and it's been a love affair since then. So
thank you.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah. We love you.
It can be dangerous because
yes, very much so.
Yes,
very much.
I never did this. I never saw that. Oh, I wanted to add that to my collection. Like,
Yep. And
for
we buy,
$2.
We buy on there too. So
so
Dell is cooking.
Dale, you making us hungry, brother.
Super cheesy sliders. Woo!
Send some over.
Yes,
I know, right?
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Yes.
All right. So a couple more questions before I get you out of here so you could go get ready for your show.
Sure.
So number 3, what's a horror movie that everybody loves, but you don't like or like less than that?
It's going to be Halloween 3 because I've had since we started doing the streams and people have found out that I like Halloween so much, and I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, Halloween 3 is great. Halloween 3 is great. We love Halloween 3," and I'm like, I hate it. I'm sorry, I hate it. You're never going to make me like it, And I've had conversations with people or people in the chat, and I'm like, guys, it's just not going to happen. I can't stand the movie. Like I would watch paint dry before I watched Halloween 3 again, just because I don't like it that much, Wow. So that's just the one that gets me right there.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're strong on that conviction, brother.
Oh yeah,
you're strong on that conviction.
Most definitely.
All right. So number 4, you're a fan. What's a horror movie that needs more love? Maybe doesn't have a modern physical release, or people just don't mention it anymore.
It'll probably surprise you, and I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it's called Brain Scan. I don't know if you've seen it. Okay. I think Brain Scan was a great movie, and the way they did it with the video game and all that and the other, I thought that now the ending's a little wonky, by the way things kind of happen. But leading up to that point, the suspense and everything that's in there, then what happens, and I'm not going to give anything away if nobody's ever seen it, but I thought that movie was one of the best ones I've seen as far as an original story and how they did it, and that's just, it's a fun movie to watch.
I'm trying to remember the year. It was 94.
94. Yep.
I just remember the poster being like in the video store.
Yes.
And Terminator 2.
Yep.
Eddie Furlong.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you haven't seen Brain Scan, or if anybody out there has not seen it, I highly suggest it. I showed it to Jen, and she actually enjoyed it too.
Yeah, just this past beginning of the summer.
Yeah,
I think
beginning of the
I
summer.
was like, wow, I'm very,
It was an
impressed. Like I
impressive
actually
movie.
really enjoyed it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty
Mhm.
good. All right. A couple more comments. Let's see. They're talking about the food now.
Everybody's hungry.
They need to lock Wes in the room with Tom Atkins and make him watch it. You know what? I don't know about Wes, but I know there's a lot of ladies out there that wouldn't mind being locked in a room with Tom Atkins, especially back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So,
He was a ladies' man back then.
and I think some of his roles reflected that too, because he was in The Fog with Jamie Lee. He was with this lady in Season of the Witch.
Yep.
So, you know, he was a little bit of a slinger.
He
We'll
was.
just leave it at that.
He was.
A little easy on the eyes too. Cal L, what's up, my brother?
What's up?
Catch us on the replay. We're getting ready to land this plane, but thank you for checking in as always. So I want to thank everyone who's been in the chat, everyone who's been watching on the live stream, everyone on the replay. And of course, I want to thank my guests. I'll probably thank you again 2 or 3 more times because I am so appreciative of you coming on. But now that you've been through the conversation, our final question for you is number 5. Who would you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
Well, I think we have a couple people in mind. One of them would be Royce, that is in here right now, because Royce is very, very knowledgeable about movies. And Royce, he hangs out with us all the time, and I'm sure he would be a great guest. And the other one would be Movie Man Murray, who is on TikTok. He's big there, and he's also a huge movie lover. And he comes to our streams as well. So I think those would be 2 good people to have on here because they have so much knowledge about movies and have watched so much. I think it would be a really great show with them.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of what you do, because you get a lot of course, movie fans. I know there's like a subsection of people who buy to flip and sell maybe on their own channels, but you also get a lot of movie fans who, you know, might be trying to find movies that they didn't have in their collection. Like, I know me, I'm like, ooh, I never picked up Interview with the Vampire on Blu-ray. You know, I still got the DVD. And what I've been doing is, as I upgrade, I've been passing them down to my daughter. So every 4K means she gets a Blu-ray. Like I just got, there was a reprint of Ghostbusters 1 and 2. So she got 2 Blu-rays added to her collection.
Nice. There you go.
So, you know, and I know there's a lot of people who are in your streams, basically the same thing. It's like they're upgrading and they're just adding on to their collection. So yeah, I love a knowledgeable movie fan.
Yes.
So, yes, and in this chat alone, he's proven himself knowledgeable. So
yes, yes, he has.
Royce, if you got like a channel or Instagram or something, he's saying I love my horror.
Yeah, oh, he does, and the cheesy horror at that.
Yes, he loves.
Oh
cheese.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you're on Instagram, man, just hit me up on IG and let's get chatting and following and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
Yep.
For sure. So yes, thank you so much for coming on. You don't know, I was looking forward to this, and I'm like trying to speed home from the barbershop. And then seeing the dogs eating kind of threw me off because I'm like, oh, they're eating.
No,
thank you.
Trust me, it's the honor is all ours. When you ask us to be on here, we never had any idea of being on Whatnot or anything that we would be a guest on anybody's show. It's a huge honor and privilege for us to do this. So thank you for inviting us on, for the exposure and everything you're giving us. It's been enjoyable to say the least. I mean, you're great. You've got a great show, and anytime you want us to come back, you just holler at us and we'll come back on. We're
gonna have to cater something to Jen. Maybe
Dirty Dancing
around Valentine's Day.
I also like Marvel movies.
She loves Marvel movies.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And Wonder Woman, which is DC, but you know, it's all right. We forgive her.
Marvel movies, Wonder Woman, or Dirty Dancing. So if you want to get us talking about that, I won't talk about it. I'll sit back here and twiddle my thumbs because I'm not huge on those. But
he watched Halloween when he was 5, and I watched Dirty Dancing when I was 7, and was in love ever since. So you know,
what I'm thinking for is for either around Valentine's Day or maybe in February, having couples on. I did it once before, so we could talk everything from Mean Girls to Dirty Dancing to whatever.
All right.
And, you know, something that caters to both. Maybe Warm Bodies if you want to bring in some horror in there. I don't know. We'll figure out something to make it good for everybody.
That'd be awesome.
Sounds great.
Love it.
Huck says, nice meeting these terrific people. Can't wait to check them out.
Thank you. Huck. Appreciate it.
Meeting awesome people. Yeah, this is my goal. My whole thing of starting this channel was to talk to other movie lovers. It's called KB Loves Movies because I'm figuring other people love movies too, and I want to talk to you. So that's why you're here, and that's why I'm happy you're able to come on tonight. Have to check on the 7 p.m. show. Yep, yes. Please do.
Thank you.
Let's see. Steve saying, have a good night. Thanks for the show. Yes, Steve, if you have a chance, head over to Whatnot and catch the stream tonight with them. Thank you, Kira. Great conversation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Royce wants to know what you like better, 3 or the Matrix. Oh, we were doing so well without mentioning the Matrix.
That's good.
Royce,
answer it, babe.
Royce, I will talk to you in about 30 minutes on the stream. Royce knows my hatred for the Matrix as well.
So do I. I was like, Leon, I actually was going to say that up front, and we will not mention the Matrix. But
Royce, I should have known, buddy. I should have known. They're both equally hated among me. Put it that way.
You were almost there. We almost got through the whole stream without mentioning.
Royce, I love it. I'll have to throw in a yoga movie for you on the next package that you get, my friend.
That's right. Royce is working on his apps. So.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Royce. Great.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And as I always say, go watch a movie. Have a good evening.
Thanks, KB. Appreciate it.
Thank you.